Anyway, the topic of today: how you guys used to torture us when we were kids. And by we, let's just keep this to me. So, Adrian, how were those days of torturing me as a child? Fresh into eighth grade, playing against 20, 21-year-olds that just bounce the ball in front of my face every 5 seconds. How was
Listen,
that experience for you?
I didn't see it that way. I saw it as reps, bro. Going to First Street, I was like, some good reps, playing against some decent players. And
Ah,
then I'd see you and let's just keep it to you.
oh yeah, okay, okay.
I'd see you hop on the court and I'd be like, at first I was like, damn, this little nigga, he can't
This
play
little
that
man,
well.
let's keep it
This
to.
little man, my bad. This little man, I see he got heart, but he ain't really playing up to potential. So low key in my head, I was like, all right, bro, like let me just go. Like I'm never gonna play down a level. I'm always gonna play at my level. Let's see if he can like reach that level too. So honestly, I didn't see it as trying to torture you. I saw it as like trying to like build you up a little bit.
Okay.
Now the other guys, I don't know.
Yeah, yep. They
Some
were.
of them would hit me with the, hey, bro, watch this, I'm gonna bounce it, and proceed to do that, and then
Yeah.
hit you with the point and laugh.
Oh yeah. I remember those days. I would play in I think it was five. I was just playing five, just stand there. I'm not gonna lie, I would just stand there and pray that the ball just hit me. Like I'm not even gonna lie, like it was to the point where I was not digging that. Yo, I literally watched the ball get set. I would watch um, you know, someone on the outside go up to you and like whisper something in your ear. I'd be like, here it comes. Watch the pass. Watch the set. Boom! Straight into the ground.
Mm-hmm.
I go to walk
Mm-hmm.
away, and all of a sudden he's pointing at me. Hey, Bo, you suck, Bo. Go get the ball, Bo.
No, the worst was they wouldn't even say go get the ball anymore. They hit y'all with the yo fetch. Nah,
Yeah.
nah,
Yep.
nah. That shit would kill me,
You know what
bro.
though? When someone's just that much better than you, you just gotta do what they say until you're better, bro. Like I think even back then, there wasn't a point where we gave you guys like attitude or like when we even hated you guys. It was just a thing of like respect and acceptance. And like, bro, if I saw the ball get set and the ball was bouncing in front of my face, I wasn't even gonna make a face and like get mad and like, bro, I was there. One, obviously, for me to get better.
Yep.
If I could dig the ball, obviously I knew it was improving and stuff.
Yep.
But on a respect level, it's like, bro, if you're not able to dig the ball, and just go get the ball. At least be useful to some regard. You know
Yeah,
what I
I
mean?
mean, you guys were always like super respectful and stuff, and I really appreciated the fact that like sometimes y'all would be like y'all put up a fight most of the time, but then y'all sometimes would be getting pooped on, and when y'all would still be like good sports about it
Oh yeah, of
until
course.
like eventually y'all actually like earn the respect and like look at y'all now. I would say y'all are like I'm over here, y'all are up here, bro. So
Appreciate
of
it.
course, bro. Gotta keep it real. Like it's that serious. Like
Yeah.
y'all stuck it through, played it out, and got to a level that's like way above, especially a lot of the other people that were like playing. They don't even play that much anymore.
Yeah.
Y'all are way above their level. So
Yeah.
I
You
feel
know,
like in
a
the end
lot
it
of
was
a
pretty
lot of the
beneficial.
people that we played with, I would say in that like group, Jose comes to mind. You know, like we took him up with us if they wanted the opportunities, even when they used to bounce the ball in front of the face. Like I said, we never took it that way because you had said something before or like last week when we were talking, and I explained to you like the mindset behind us going and how we never really took it that way. We were just trying to literally just any opportunity we could take to hop on the court. That's how it went. Like it was. That's just how it was. There was one point where when I went with him that one time, and he was like, "Yo, just find any spot to fill on the court. It doesn't matter if it's a setter, a lib, outside, bro. Just get your reps, right?" And you were like, "Oh, I wish that I would have known that, so that, I could have like, helped you guys out a little more." Like, no, bro. Like at the end of the day, like on a serious note type shit, it's like if that would have happened, we would have never become as mentally resilient as we needed to be to get on the court. Um, we were never really mad at you guys. I feel like we made that really obvious with just like how much we respected you guys. I still talk to Willie. I still talk to like everyone that's there. I thank them from Noble, like really dislocated my arm one time. I thank him for dislocating my arm. Like no BS. I came home. My mom was like, "Why is your arm loopy?" And I was like, "I don't know." And we went to the doctor. They fixed it. Mom wasn't even mad. She was just like, "Well, it's sports. If you're not mad, I'm not mad. If you were mad, I'd probably say something to him." But it's like, you know, we were there to get better. We were there to get shit on, to be honest, because we knew that getting shit on is like the fastest way to get better. Like you're gonna rise to the level that you play with, and if we're playing with people that are like 80 times better than us, like it's just gonna happen that much faster. I would say like the moment the level or time period that we felt comfortable with it was probably like sophomore junior year when we hit that level. But yeah, besides that, it's like it just the takeaway from me from it was just the mental resilience that we learned. Our frustration, well, my frustration was just in the fact that we never really, that I never got to step foot on the court most of the time because I was looked down upon. Obviously, like it is what it is. But yeah, that was where my frustration would come in. I didn't care what position I had to play. I didn't care how my teammates talked to me. I didn't care what was going on. If it was good, it was bad. I just wanted to get on the court. Not gonna lie. Part of it is just like me being like incredibly selfish, to be blunt. Part of it was also just a lot of like home problems going on, but I just wanted to hop on the court and just kind of take me out of it. I would say when I met JoJo at Washington was when things like kind of started to change because JoJo was good enough to the point where like if this was like the average playing of like all you guys that we used to hang with and we were somewhere like down here, JoJo was somewhere like up here. Like I'm not gonna be like, but he was like somewhere up here.
Yep.
I remember he came up to me one day, and this means a lot to me. He came up to me one day, and he was like, "Why do I feel like I've seen you around before?" And I was like, "I don't know." Well, I was actually very talkative. Like I'm very talkative, um, I was very talkative before. I'm more kind of reserved now around most people. But I was like, I don't know. We started like joking around and stuff, talking about Yu-Gi-Oh and all this other BS. And then he was like, "Have you ever been to this place called Greenville before?" And I was like, "Yeah, actually, my whole family lives there." And he was like, "I knew I've seen you before on this street." And I was like, "Yeah, my aunt lives there." So we started talking, and the first thing he told me, I'll never forget this. He was like, "You know what, man? You're pretty cool. You can come and set me a ball." And I was like, "Really?" He was like, "Yeah." So we go over, and he comes over, and I set him a ball. He's like, "No, no, no." He was like, "Let me tell you something. When you get good, because this was like eighth grade me, he was like, when you get really good, you can start doing like really cool stuff. Like you can make the ball go like this or blah, blah, blah." He was like, "For now, there's no such thing as high. That's too high. If God can't touch it, it's not high enough, Dennis." That was the realest thing he ever told me as an eighth grader. And I set him a high ball, and he let me bounce the ball. And then he came up to me. He was like, "You're pretty all right, kid." And then he dapped me up. And I remember when I was walking away, he was like, "Man, you might do that little side set bullshit you do, but the ball gets where it needs to be. And I fuck with people who know how to win." And then he just walked away. That's literally just
That
always been
sounds
Joe.
just
Yeah,
like
that's
him.
literally just
Yeah.
always been JoJo. Literally just
Yep.
always been JoJo. But no, I appreciated that. And he always just like took me under his wing after that. We would go to open gyms, and obviously like he said, as I got better, the whole high ball thing kind of changed. Um, but it was always just the same. He used to have me dying because like JoJo is like me, where whether he admits it or not, he's a very selfish person. But like he's that way in like a way that boosts everyone around him. Like we went to rec one time, and I'll never forget this. This guy comes up to him, and they're like, "Yo, take your pick out of these five setters. Pick your team." Immediately he goes, "Dennis." We go to walk away. This was like my sophomore year, and like a couple of people that were like, I don't want to say better than us, but kind of at the same skill level, just came up to us. They were like, "Man," because they used to like down on me like my sophomore year, and they were like, "Man, this ain't that good for him, bro. You just like him because he always sets you." And JoJo looks at me. He was like, "Ain't fucking right," and walked away.
Yeah.
That's always been JoJo. Yeah, we were walking away, and as we were walking, because like JoJo was like a little bit taller than me. Well, he was like a couple inches taller than me at the time. And we're walking away, and he's like, "Dennis, can you believe this? They try to call me out on something. Like I wasn't going to sit here and lie about it. Of course I like you because you sent me the ball. Every ball you sent me the ball, it helps me get my reps." And then he walked away. Makes sense.
Yeah,
That fried me when he told me that. They're like, you only like Dennis because he likes setting you. He sets you every ball, and they started laughing. He was like, yeah, and he walked away. That's just always oh, Min Jojo. But yeah, that's how I took it at the time. And I feel like if you guys would have tried to help us out even more than we were already getting, any more than that for me would have been spoiling me. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm someone
that's fair.
that just needs to figure out kind of just like on his own type thing. And I don't want to say I figured it all out on my own because there are people along the way, whether you realize it or not, that lend a helping hand and kind of just like put their little piece of change in and stuff.
Yep.
But definitely any more than that, and I would have just been like a spoiled, even more of a spoiled brat than I was because I already had like the biggest ego out of everybody. It was insane. Now it's a little bit healthier. I'm more quiet now, but yeah, that's how I took it.
It's crazy to think though that a lot of like kids playing volleyball nowadays like that are in the same position that you were back then don't really like take it the same way. You know what I mean? Like
Oh yeah, absolutely not.
when
Me,
we go to First Street now, bro, and like you do the slightest bit of trash talking, and they'll take it so personally, bro. Like,
oh, dude, we used to get trash talked all the time. Yo, literally, Josh would go up and rip the ball straight down and just
go.
look me dead in my eye and be like, "You suck, Bo. Go get the ball, Bo. Go fetch, Bo." Yeah, all right, whatever you say. All right, but yeah, it's like to me, if you're one younger and two just not at that skill level that you let that happen to you, bro, you let it happen to you. You gotta just go get the ball game.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, come
yeah.
on. Like
Like,
I don't know. That's just how I view it. There be certain people now where when I play outside or something, like I go back to like mess around that first street and stuff. I'll go up and I'll literally swing a nice little angle. Like I remember it was this one line shot that I literally just bang line and I came down and Kaden was saying and he was like, oh, he was like, I did not know you had that in your bag. And we're just dapping each other up and shit. And then one of the kids on the other side was like, yo, go get the ball. And I was like, what? Was it not in? And they were like, yeah, but it went kind of far.
uh,
And I was like, bro, I scored a point. Like, what are you talking about? You
yeah,
know what? Hold on. Big difference. This is one thing that I have to say because I realized this maybe like 2 months ago. So there was one point, right, where I was coaching and I went up and I hit a ball, right, semi hard. I'm not gonna say I went up with like all my no, I did. I'm lying. I'm not gonna say you're lying. I did go up because the set was like really bad, and I went over the net and I like reached my hand over and like hit it straight down, and I heard someone complain. So I felt bad because I care about the kids that I coach, every
right.
single one of them. So I felt bad and I toned it down and I just started tipping and roll shouting after that, blah blah blah, right? Anyway, I go to First Street after this, and I'm getting my reps in with kids who I want to say they're not even kids. They're like a year or two younger than me, right? I go up and I yeah, I did the same thing with my right hand because I the first time I did it lefty, and that was the only part that I was like that's kind of unrealistic. But anyway, I go up and I hit the ball straight down, right? And then I hear one of them complain. So what happens, right? My first reaction was to feel bad because I heard the words of the kid that had just did that to earlier in the day that I coached, I felt bad. So the words echoed in my head and I felt bad for 3 minutes. And then I realized, wait a minute, I don't care about these kids. These aren't kids that I coach. So I went up and I swung the same ball. I hit a 4-4 shot and I broke some of the glasses. I think I felt bad a little bit, but that's not the point. Like, I don't know. It's just different. You can't do that when you're like right. You just can't do that.
No,
Nah, you definitely cannot do that.
definitely not. No.
But you're arguably getting a better lesson from that happening to you at First Street. Think of the way that we took it. My arm got dislocated, and my first reaction was to thank him. Not in the moment. It was like a year later.
Yeah.
But I went to the doctor. They popped it back in. I didn't come. You could ask my mom. I didn't complain a single way the entire time. You know what my thought process was?
What?
What did I do to not get the ball up?
Yeah.
Come on, bro. Anyway, that's just life in general. Because
Yeah.
when I this I feel like I started taking it that way like my junior year. Like every lesson that I took in volleyball about being mentally tough or just doing things a certain way translated into life. And I gotta give credit. Well, not give credit. I gotta give credit to myself for realizing it. But I gotta give credit to one big thing that kind of just like changed setting for me was where I just realized that like the way that I communicate people, the way I communicate with people that matter to me in my actual like social life is the same way that I'm going to communicate with my hitters. So from there on, it just like it just stemmed from like connecting volleyball to life and just moving back and forth. And yeah, that was it. Like at a certain point, I was someone that used to run like really fast tempo all the time, and like I could be like 40 feet deep in the court. It was really what I was known for, and I would just still set a shoe ball. It was a good shoe ball, but it was a shoe ball. And at a certain point, I was like, wait a minute. Sometimes, sometimes in any relationship, whether it be with a friend, a partner, your boss, you just need to take things slow.
Yep.
So once I hopped on a court and I realized that, I was like, why am I trying to rush a shoot ball 40 feet deep in the court when all three blockers know it's going to go to outside? That just doesn't make sense. So then I started taking things slower. But anyway, it was just like little things like that to me. I say that to people when they look at me like I'm crazy. Well, sucks. But yeah, I learned that people do not take things the same way. Like it
No.
was very much like even with my grade or like whatever, like that cutoff of a generation, I would explain certain things to people. Like even my high school season, when I would go out to open gyms or when I would go to play at high school, like I remember someone came up and asked me, he was like, "Oh, why are you always just like kind of?" Well, I wasn't chilling the court, but he was like, "Oh, why didn't you react in this one situation?" And I was like, "Oh, because of something someone told me the other day," and they were like about volleyball, and I was like, "Not really. It's just something that they quoted a famous samurai for, which is the calmer mind will always win. So if I'm sitting on the side, or sorry, if I'm on a court and I start panicking as a setter, and that means my sets probably aren't going to be good. And it's also equally as important to just kind of like recognize your emotion in the moment.
For
Like for
sure.
me, if I'm setting and I feel my heart racing or I feel kind of like nervous or something and I try to brush it off, I usually tend to set worse. Whereas like if I just take it as wow, this means I'm being pushed for the first time in a while. Because if I wasn't being pushed, then my heart wouldn't be racing like this. I wouldn't be feeling this way. And then I kind of just like try to reel it in. I maybe set a bad ball or two, but then everything just kind of works out. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I think it's important to just kind of like recognize the emotion, name it, learn how to deal with it either in the moment or go home and research how to deal with it. For me, it was anxiety. I've already given my opinion on anxiety, actually in another video. But my opinion on anxiety is that people view it as this bad thing, but no, it's just anxiety just means that you feel like you're never doing enough. To me personally, that's how I take it. And if you think that way, that means that you can always just use it as like a ladder to higher thinking. Because if you feel like you're not doing enough, sometimes it's bad. If you sit there and you're like, oh man, I'm just never doing enough, and you kind of like beat yourself up, well then that's bad. But if you sit there and you're like, I'm not doing enough, man, I need to work harder, and you get to work, well then yeah, that's the difference between someone that just sits on their ass and does nothing all day and just complains about the situation while repeating the same thing over and over again,
Yep.
and someone that goes home and works and goes back on the court or work or wherever it is. Because I used to take the same attitude towards work, get the job done, and then think, yeah, man, I'm still not doing enough. And then go back and do the same process over and over and over. And that's how great character is born.
Yeah.
That's how that not even I was gonna say great athletes. That's just how great people with great character are born.
Yeah.
Literally.
No, for sure. Like if you think that you're not doing enough and then you just don't start putting in the work and like nothing's gonna change. It's
Yeah.
all of a sudden the work isn't gonna be done for you,
Yeah.
right?
And
Like
there's times where I'm scared too. I listen, there's certain points and I make mistakes like this in life still. Where like I'll get hit with something and I think by not looking at it, something will get fixed. And my senior
mm,
year, I learned that the really, really, really hard way. I'm not gonna lie, I straight up like this is a whole nother topic, so I'm not getting into it. But I really didn't care my senior year about a lot of things. I was still very emotional. I'm not as emotional as I was back then, I would say, but I just didn't care. I was missing like 20 assignments from the first quarter, and I was like, if I just don't check them, they'll just go away. That is not how that works. They
no.
called me into the meeting. My mom looked me dead in my eye. I swear. She was like, "Are you high?" And I was like, "What?" And I looked around. My mom sat in front of like 10 of my teachers. I was like, "What? No." And she was like, "Son, why are you being a dumbass when I know you're not?" And I was like, "Ah, shit." And like all my teachers, like I had to go up and apologize to 10 of my teachers after and just be like, hey, I'm sorry. Like my mom likes to throw that around like crazy. I don't actually have never smoked in my life. And like they were like, yeah, but it's kind of understandable when you're missing 20 assignments. It's like, Anyway,
Yeah.
that's how I learned that the hard way was my mom asking me if I was stoned, for lack of a better word, in front of all my teachers when I was in my complete right state of mind. Yeah, ignoring it does not solve everything. But
No, not at
to
all.
to finish the kind of point, when I told the person that like, oh, the calmer mind on the field always wins, no matter what you're doing. They just looked at me. They were like, "What are you talking about?" And I was like, "What?" And they were like, "Who thinks like that about volleyball? It's so weird." And I was like, "I mean, I'm sure there's other people that do, but I just kind of naturally assumed, like my senior year, I just kind of naturally assumed that everyone kind of thought that way, you know."
Yeah.
Um, but I feel like that kind of thinking, that like thirst for knowledge or thirst for whatever, that then becomes translated into gameplay or work or whatever, kind of just comes from the fact that we weren't babied by you guys. Like you guys didn't make us soft, Like you guys actually very much toughened us up. You tough. No, let me rephrase, because I don't think being like tough and hard is the way to be. Sometimes you got to be chill.
Yep.
But I think that you guys toughened us up physically on what to do. Like you guys taught us what to do physically, but mentally you guys kind of, I don't want to say encouraged, because it wasn't a lot of your guys' natural intent, but you guys bred a way of thinking that just kind of flowed and like let us find our way out of a lot of things, I would say. And it was very productive and very helpful towards life, especially like once I started realizing it my junior year of like, okay, this is how this works with life, and I can translate it into this aspect and stuff like that. That was how it was. And I credit you, Willie, Jose, just everybody that's ever stepped foot at First Street. I'm not gonna lie, it's just better now. It's that way, but it's that way in like much more toxic manner, you know.
Yep.
So that's to me, but that's because your generation has left from it. Like your generation is just no longer there.
Yeah. No.
Now I feel like it's our generation's turn to go do that kind of thing, but we're just not gonna do that. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm sorry, but we're not doing that. We have worked way too much to have what you guys didn't, for actually, not lack of a better term, for the accurate term. We have a lot going on with volleyball and just like college, work, just like a lot of different stuff.
Yep.
So it's like we're not gonna sit here and help kids that are more, 1,000 times more, yeah, just flat out disrespectful. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's just like at least when you guys were doing it towards us, we were very respectful in a sense. And at first, I didn't think that was true, because I was talking with Anthony one time, and I was like, "Yeah, man, I don't know," because there's two kids arguing on a court that actually reminded me exactly like the two of us. And I was like, "Yeah, man, I feel bad that you guys had to deal with us." And they were like, and then he like turned and looked at me, and Anthony's like the most honest person I know, and he was like, "What? Why?" He's like, "You guys are great kids. Like, you guys were very respectful. Always did what you told us to do. No questions asked. Didn't roll your eyes. Never gave us attitude. Just very, very respectful kids. I wouldn't say we coached you guys, but we did teach you guys the game." And I was like, "Word." And I was like, "You don't think we were disrespectful?" And I was like, "I think we were crazy disrespectful. We used to say this to this to each other, this to each other, this to each other." And he kind of just looked at me. He was like, "Yeah, to each other,
Yeah.
not us." He was like, "It wasn't like we didn't notice. Oh no, we would be back there and you guys would just start crashing out, attacking each other. You bleep, 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 bleep. You didn't set the ball properly. You didn't hit it. Well, how about you hitting the court, dumbass? Da, 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 da." And he was like, "Yeah, but you guys used to do that towards each other."
Yep.
And then we would step in and be like, "Hey, how about you take the ball in front of you instead of fighting back here? Or how about you do this?" You guys would kind of just look at us and be like, "Okay," and then just go and do it. So we really didn't care about how you were acting towards each other, because we understood that you guys were really close, like best friends that have known each other since we were 5. So we're kind of just like, hey, that's their dynamic. That don't affect us as long as
Yeah.
they're being respectful towards us. And if you were disrespectful towards us, then we would have just told you to get off the court.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Luckily, that ain't ever happened, really, as far as I can remember. But
No, we were super respectful. There was never a time where we gave you guys like serious attitude. There were times where I might have disliked a certain person. Like Anthony, oh, I definitely disliked Anthony at the beginning. He would, I would set a terrible ball, and he would not hit it or get upset and get annoyed. But like I sucked, so I kind of deserved it. If you're not performing up to the standard that someone better than you needs, and it wasn't like we didn't know that he was better than us. I feel like nowadays the viewpoint on it, like athlete to athlete, is if I don't like you, you're a bad athlete. That's just not how that
Oh,
works. I didn't like Anthony at first. I found Josh annoying at first, but I still understood the lessons that they were teaching me,
yep.
and I still understood the fact that they were just flat out better than me. There wasn't a point where I was like, "Oh, maybe I'm as good at them as." No, that's just
Oh.
not how that worked. I was in my freshman sophomore year. They were older than me. They could hit more consistent. Like
I
it's just
mean,
not how that works.
you can definitely dislike somebody and still acknowledge their skill level. Like,
And what they're teaching you. Like
yeah, especially if like what they're teaching you is something actually worth like learning.
yeah. And there was actually one time where Anthony stayed after with me to help me with something, and the whole time I was just like, "Oh my god, I cannot stand this person." I was like, I think I was 13. I was 13, and I was just thinking the whole time, "Oh my god, he's so annoying." But I would think it while chasing the ball, not while actually attentively listening to what he was saying. I would listen to what he was saying, make the adjustment, and then he would just tell me, "Oh, now that this is fixed, let's move on to this." In my head, I was just like, "Oh my god, this is so annoying." Taking it a little steps, just show me how it's done. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But at the same time, I was 14, 15, so that's just how 14 and 15-year-olds think.
yeah, no,
So I
I
mean,
mean,
it's whatever. But I will say that to kind of wrap it up, the one thing that changed about me from back then compared to now is just I'm the same way with you guys, but compared to like people I don't know on a very high percentage most of the time I would say is how loud, talkative, and outgoing I was. Like before, my personality was very what's it called, exoletic or exotelic, kind of in a sense. I don't know which one it is, but it's the type of personality that's very
yep,
talkative, you know, that kind of thing. Not very much to themselves. Um, I would go up to random people at the park, get their Instagrams. Hey, bro, you want a ball? Da da da. Text me when you're coming back so I can come and get reps. You know, just kind of
yep,
build my own network of people that I could learn from and play with to learn from when I was 13 to maybe when I was like 16. When I was 17, then I started transitioning a lot towards an autolytic personality. And that's where like everything that I had built up before kind of, I don't want to say it went away, but it shifted in a sense of I was more to myself, much more selfish, much more focused on everything that was inward, not as outgoing as I was before. But I will say that in being autolytic, I was still a little bit outgoing in a sense. And I used to, in that change of personality, there came a level of like loneliness in a sense, kind of. But the loneliness led me towards other people who were on that same exact path of life in anything. And those people that were on that same path tended to be the people who were just better at what they were doing. Like whether it was work, sports, school, character, that was where everything kind of just clicked. And I became much more happier with the people that I was around, I would say. Of course, once you make a switch that drastic, I think that a lot of people tended to take it. I don't want to say the wrong way because I definitely was much more disrespectful at that point towards a lot of people. Um, when I was 17 up until I was 18, but they took it much more severe because of the way that I was before, being outgoing and
yep,
like cheering and stuff like that. Like the over I don't want to say overnight, but the switch from being super outgoing, friendly, talkative to kind of the other direction, which was selfish, not as talkative, quiet, just came with a lot of much more, how do I put it? Backlash? Yeah, backlash is the right word to use.
yeah,
Backlash and also just assumption that was right sometimes, but it was always just a negative assumption, and something's not always negative. I would
Yep.
say for the most part I was negative from when I was 17 to when I was 18, but I wasn't always negative. And people pushing that upon me just made me more negative, and it was just a constant loop of like me, people, me, people, me, and it just kept going
Yep.
circle and circle, just negativeness inside me, a lot of anger, a lot of not sadness but just anger. Yeah. When I was my later half of 18, like that second half was when I really just found it in myself. And even now I'm kind of just like getting it out of me in a sense. Like I'm realizing that there's really no point to kind of just speaking negatively on other people, like just literally no point.
Yep.
When I do, most of the time it's just joking about my friends. There's people out there that actually think I genuinely hate my best friends. I don't hate my best friends. I'm just joking around. I don't think Yao sucks at volleyball. I like someone the other day. I was like, yeah, Yao sucks at volleyball, bro. He's always hitting the back wall, and I was laughing with Yao about it, and they were like, bro, you just hate Yao. And I was like, what are you talking about, bro? I'm literally face to face saying this with him, joking
Yep.
about it. What? But yeah, I think that in the switch though from that personality type, the one thing that never changed, or the one thing that dragged my athletic personality out even to this day, is the people that were always kind and nice to me when I was that way, even after the personality switch. And I realized that when last week, because I'm very quiet now. I'm actually not as negative in my head. Like most of the time, if I speak on
Corey.
something that's very factual and it just happens to be something that someone doesn't like to hear, then that's fine. That's not my problem. But most of the time in my head, when I watch volleyball or when I just like see people in general, I'm just thinking about myself like LeBron. LeBron is someone that I'm quiet most of the time. I only started talking with him more recently, but from the first like time I played with him, I was just like, wow, this guy's a very nice person. He has a very built character. He knows what he's doing. He recognizes the good in others, and yeah, he's just a good person and a good player. So why wouldn't I want to just like be chill with him? You know what I mean?
Yep.
That didn't I didn't say that to him probably till like a week ago, and I've known him for 3 months now. But yeah, my mindset is much more like positive now. I'd say like after the summer, but especially the people that I recognize that in, I realize also kind of come from or have had that same period of time. Like when I talk to LeBron, he's like, oh, there was a period of time where I was the same way, where I was just always negative, complaining on the court, da da da. Like, hey, bro, you got to go through the negative. You got to just get it out of your system. You have to be a terrible person to realize just how terrible you are, and then you can kind of move out of that.
Yep.
It's really like we're all terrible people, to be honest. Every single one of us, me, you, anybody watching this, like we're all terrible people. But day by day, if you could just admit that within yourself and then just keep pushing forward and dissect day by day, like your end of the day should be you dissecting everything you did right, but more importantly, or not more importantly, a little less importantly, everything that you did wrong so that you could just change it. And then the next day, your goal is to change those things, not be a terrible person, but recognize that things are going to get the best of you. People are going to get you mad, work, school, other people, then dissect that. And then day by day, it's just a process of dissection and removing what you don't want, inserting what you do want. There's like new factors that come into play, and you just kind of experiment and play around with it and just dissect it. That's literally it. But yeah, I would say that the people from back then, well, the person that made me realize it was Yao. Um, he kind of brought that side out of me because that whole week, well, this whole week, past week, I was very quiet, extra quiet, just because I've had a lot of loss recently within
Yep.
my family and like just friends and stuff like that. But yeah, I was just quiet. But being around him and just like playing with him and being able to chill and stuff was just a very nice experience. And I think that it kind of brought out my more outgoing side when I was with him. And it
Yep.
made me realize that before before I was very talkative and outgoing, had that personality, and being quiet was a rarity for me. You would rarely ever see me quiet, especially back then. But now it's kind of the opposite, where being quiet is my normal, and me being outgoing is very rare to me. For most people, but it doesn't mean that I'm any less positive or negative. You know, I've already been through my phases, as me and other people have shared, of being negative and just kind of like you catch yourself in those moments too when you're being negative. Like you say something and you're just like, why did I say that? And the difference between people that can go through that process of dissection at the end of the day and the people that kind of just remain the same is just being honest with yourself. And for some people, it takes a little bit longer. Some people, it takes months. Some people, it takes weeks. For me, it took me months to just be like, why am I saying all this? What purpose do I gain by saying this? You know, at the end of the day, people are gonna piss me off. I'm gonna say some pretty negative things from time to time, but it should never be my goal to go out there and be like, oh yeah, man, like
Yeah,
this guy sucks. Da 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 da. You know, it doesn't make you feel. It'll make you feel better in the moment, but then you'll go home and you'll be like, why?
yeah.
Like, why
Like,
did I
why'd
do
I
that?
say that?
Yeah, just why?
Why'd I go about? Yeah, no, I agree with that 100%.
Indeed.
That being said, though, nothing wrong with being introverted. So,
For
like, if
better.
you could take anything away from that, like, be an introvert. Don't talk to people if you don't want to talk to people. But
Yeah,
also, don't be afraid to be like extroverted if that's just who you are. Like, if it'll help you get by, if it'll get you your connections, like, play to your strengths
yeah,
and don't let anybody change you in any negative way, anyways. Like,
yeah,
if somebody's trying to be change you for good, let that be. But that's got to be like a good for you first and foremost.
yeah.
But
What was your take on the growth that you've like the different levels of my personality that you've seen shifted from like positive to
I mean,
negative to
there were times where like I know you said in the past that you thought I hated you.
oh
There were
yeah,
times where
yeah,
you'd go quiet after a while, and I would be like, "Yo, I genuinely feel bad because this kid used to be like so
yeah.
energetic and whatnot.
That but
Now
that
so
had a lot to
quiet."
do with just mainly me, especially back then. Because I remember, yo, there's this funny story that the little sides, you know how it rains at First Street and like the
Yep.
puddles get created.
Hmm.
This one specific spot I remember, and I thought that you hated me because I. Besides the first reason, that was just dumb. The second reason was one time when I was in eighth grade, we were playing on a court. I think you were a junior, and I shanked a ball, and you were setting, and you ran to go like chase it down, and you slipped into this puddle, and
Yo,
your whole jacket was just soaked.
yo,
And
my Karasuno
I watched you
jacket.
come out, and you looked so pissed, and I was like, yo, I feel so bad. But what was funnier is that that same day, I watched the other one that used to come with me take a dip in it, and I watched Omar take a dip in it, and it was so funny both times. I didn't laugh at you, but I laughed at both of them, yo. It was so funny, yo. Oh my god. But yeah,
You know, honestly, when that happened, I wasn't even like. I probably did look mad. I'm not gonna lie,
oh
but I
yeah, of
wasn't
course you
even
did.
like
Now that I'm older,
mad,
like yeah, bro,
mad,
of
bro.
course you did. Of course you did. I ruined your
Like
jacket.
I was like, damn, bro, damn, I really like that jacket.
Yeah,
But I mean, it's like it's a possession. End of the day, I could always get another one. That's
yeah,
what I thought, anyways. Like, but to clear things up, I did not hate
yeah.
you for ruining my jacket.
A jacket.
It
Yeah,
was a
nah.
nice jacket,
It
though.
was. It was. It was. It was. Nah,
Yo,
yeah.
okay, I gotta get another one of those. I'm not gonna lie.
You know what though? As I'm sure we're approaching somewhere around 20, maybe 30 minutes now, we wrap this up. I gotta say one thing that genuinely changed my perspective that you and Sabian had to do with, and I always say it, but I never actually put it out there. There was this one time, and this was a period. This was last March or April. There was a period of time where I was transitioning. Right, I would say summer of 2023. Everyone knows this. It was like my worst period of my life. I just hated my life. Then slowly started transitioning and finding my way back to myself, just kind of being happy while also just like keeping that same level of selfishness and like self interest, right? Because I realized that I'm doing a lot for the world. The world isn't doing a lot back for me. And at points like that, there's gonna be points like that in your life. But in points like that, you just gotta take it into your own account, do things for yourself. So there was this one time, right, where I made a really intense switch. Like I went from helping everybody and like being outgoing and stuff like that to just kind of like going back into my own internal state and ignoring everyone else and kind of just being really like an asshole towards them. And it was a really intense switch, and I was mean to a lot of people back then. Then I realized somewhere around March, maybe I should lighten up. Maybe I put my guard up too tight. I had my guard down. I got punched in the face. I put my guard up way too tight. Gotta drop it a little bit. keep my hands out a little bit, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, end up taking this person on my team to an open gym. And this is what I mean when I say volleyball isn't just about like, the stuff that happens on a court. It's about the stuff that happens off a court that transforms you as a person too. For me at least, I think volleyball is a game of character. That's my philosophy. Whoever has the better character on the side of the six that have a better overall character are going to be the six that win. That's just it at the end of the day. Whoever
Yep.
could solve the puzzle first. But yeah, I was coming out of an open gym. This person was complaining about playing time. I went out of my way to take them on the team, but I didn't have to. I gave them playing time on my team when I didn't have to.
Yep.
And they ended up complaining. Whatever. They were like, basically, you're a terrible person for doing this. I'm not da 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 da. And they just left, right? Okay, whatever. Usually I would have just complained and been like, you're ungrateful, but I don't care. So they end up leaving. And then there was a point in time, I think like you and Sabian came up to me and you guys noticed that like I genuinely think I kept the stone cold face through all of it when they were talking to me. But I was walking away and you and Sabian walked up to me and Sabian. Sabian is very like he's a character. He's very
Yeah.
like no matter what he is, he's just unfazed the same way he is, talks the same way, does the same thing.
Yep.
It's incredible. Seriously. Just come up to me and he he did this thing. He doesn't even do this. I don't even know why he did it. He like jumped over and like skipped over and he like jumped in front of me and he was like, "Hey gang," he was like, "Ain't worry about it, bro." Because at the end of the day, people like that, it don't matter. You're not gonna pick them up. Who's gonna pick them up?
Yeah.
You're giving them a chance. They're not giving you a chance. You're giving them a chance.
Mm-hmm.
They would have not gotten PT if you didn't pick them up to play with you on your team.
Yep.
And he was like, at the end of the day, all that really matters is that we are here with you. Your normal teammates are here with you. People like that, just don't even think about it. Like that's character that doesn't really deserve to step on a court. But people like me, Kay, Adrian, we come back week by week knowing that we're going to get the same reps for you because we believe in your character and we know that you go 150% with paying for us, getting us here with rides, whether it be the light rail, the Uber, whatever, building up connections, not just for yourself, but for the people around you to have opportunities. We know that you go 150, maybe even sometimes 180% to do that for us.
Yep.
So when we see you low or we see you in moments like that, while people like that may walk away, we step up and we go, all right, we got to go at least 120 for him because he goes 180 for us.
Yep.
That's just how it is, bro. If you going 10, we got to go 190. That's what it is, bro. We got to go overtime for you. So I wouldn't even stress it. And then he just walked away. And you pitched into, you were like, I agree. And then you were like, that's why I come back week for week is, your character. You always organize things for us. You always pay for us when you don't have to. And one day we're gonna give it all back to you because you've done it for us for 4 years, and we just believe in your character. And that in itself meant a lot to me. But there was even a point after that where Sabian, when he came next week, we were talking. And he was like, "Yo, it's still bugging you about last week." And I was like, "Nah." And he was like, "That's crazy." He was like, "'Cause when we was walking home, me and Adrian were talking about it. We walked back from Light Road together, and we're just talking about like how that character that you have, that spark in you that makes you go so hard for the people around you, whether everyone appreciates it, whether no one appreciates it, and you just still show up time and time again, whether you're talkative, whether you're quiet, whether you're doing whatever, you still show up. That's what attracts great people around you like us. That's what attracts great people around you, and that's what attracts us around you and makes us want to go 180 for you is the fact that you do that. And that's why such amazing people are just naturally like gravitated towards you and want to do those things for you that they wouldn't normally do for other people. And that's what it is, character. I cried. I'm not gonna lie. So appreciate it a lot.
Of course, bro.
That's one thing that like genuinely stuck in my head for the longest time, and I always want to thank you and Sabian for it because it was at like such a turning point in my life. Because I remember thinking about it that day and just being like, "Hey, bro, maybe it's not time to go back to the old ways just yet. Like, maybe it's time to just stick to myself and you know."
Hey.
But that genuinely like, bro, actually meant a lot.
Hey, bro. I'm really glad to hear that, bro.
Of course, bro. It was a very pivotal turning point in my life in that era, I would say. that's what made me kind of venture out and take risks and just kind of put myself out there. And even now today, just kind of knowing like no matter what I do, but as long as I do something with the right intention and I'm able to logically plan an escape route, like these people have my back with no matter what it is. You know what I mean? So I think that is something that I've always been very thankful for, not just in that moment, but with you guys always, just because of the fact that you guys always gave us that mental fortitude. You guys were always hard on us because you believed in us. And I think that even though it's weird because like when certain things happen, you don't know where it's gonna go, but you know where it's gonna go sometimes.
Yeah.
And I think that you guys being hard on us when you guys first picked up volleyball with us, not kind of toning it down, not being like, that poor kid has got his arm dislocated or something, you know what I mean? Like, nah. I think you guys knew that it was mentally going to toughen us up. So I've always been very thankful for
And I've always been thankful. No, I'm kidding.
that.
Thankful for the reps is crazy work, bro.
I was always thankful for my favorite ball boy.
My favorite ball boy is crazy work.
That's something Josh would say.
Oh hell no, bro. I mean.